Namaste everyone, welcome to Advaita Vedanta Satsang House. The ongoing sessions are on Bhagavad Gita from an Advaita perspective offered by Bindoji. We are on chapter 5, towards the end of chapter 5. The replays of all the earlier rooms are available in Clubhouse, or you can access the links shared in the chat. One is a YouTube channel called Advaita Retold, where they are well catalogued. Then there is a link to the Apple Podcast and Spotify platforms. As a companion, there is a book that has been published by Artemisia that is based on Bindoji's insights into Advaita. So it's a good companion reading material. Our schedule is currently for the chapter 5 leading into chapter 6 is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6:30 a.m. IST. At the regular time, 8:30 p.m. IST, when permitting, Yash is replaying the chapters 3, and he's finished 3 and now he's into chapter 4. For housekeeping, I'm going to close the chat and hand raising when Bindoji is offering the class, after which we'll open up those channels for any Q&A. As always, thank you, Bindoji. Over to you.
Thank you, Prakash. Namaste and Hari Om to all of you. My invocation. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purana Alayam Garunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutravashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtiveda Vibhagine Vyomavatyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Tad Gita Dhyana Shlokam. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudramarutaha Tvanvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangapadakramो Upanishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyandam na Vidussura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Oh. So in the last class we completed the Jnana Prakarana, ending with Brahma Karmas, Brahma Nirvana. Now Krishna is adding 3 more verses, 27, 28 and 29, which is totally a different topic altogether. But Shankaracharya says that this is the sutra form for the entire 6th chapter. That's why I said it is talking about meditation. The 6th chapter is completely dedicated to Dhyana Yoga, or how the meditation has to be done as per Bhagavad Gita. Now these 3 verses, there is a link between what has been taught till now and why the importance of the Dhyana Yoga for achieving the Jnana. So Dhyana is not Dhyana Yoga, or meditation is not a practice or methodology which is not wanted, but it is very much required, because Krishna himself has been told and will continue to tell that mind is a very difficult thing to control. To control the mind, it's not very easy, even for the most advanced yogis, the moment when they slip or when they fall back into delusion or get caught by the avidya is unpredictable. Because Krishna says later, Gahana Karmana Gati. And he also says, Mama Maya Duratya. Nobody can cross or win over my Maya, my Maya. So, we all being the same Brahman, Atman, how do we feel that we are not? This question is exactly what is addressing that the requirement of Mano Nigraha is the most important aspect of it. And we were having this anubhava, aparoksha anubhava of the Atman Brahman. But somewhere down the line, when we get delusioned or caught up by the avidya in the weak moment of the mind, we become victims and of avidya and we become human beings. We feel like we are human beings, even though we are not. So to explain this aspect and how to remain in the abidance of Atma or Brahman, we need to learn Dhyana Yoga or meditation. So as a preamble to that, which is going to come up in the 6th chapter, Krishna is giving here the introduction. Sparshan kritva bahyanscha shui andarei bruvo pranapanau samau kritva nasabhyandara charinau. Yedendriya mano buddhir munir moksha parayana vigadecha bhaya krodo yas sada mukta eva saha. Bhoktaram yatnyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim richati. So the 3rd verse end is mam shantim richati. Jnatva mam, by knowing who I am. Shantim richati. Richati means attains. Shantim richati means one who knows the self, mam jnatva, shantim richati, is attaining the shanti. This shanti is the sukham akshayam, which was mentioned earlier in the 5th chapter. That imperishable sukham or shanti. Now, how does Krishna link between the verses, or what is the purpose he is giving these 3 verses? One need to get deep into that. He starts with Bahyan Sparshan Bahi Kritva. I am reading the prose order of the verse. Chakshucha Andare Bruvo Kritva Pranapanau Samau Kritva Nasabhyandara Charinau. Bahyan Sparshan Bahi Kritva. Having placed the objects of sense contacts external. Abahyan means keeping them outside. It is, somebody may say that, what is the greatness in it? The external objects are external already. Why should I have to keep it outside? having placed the sense contacts or the Bahya Sparshan, Bahikritva, keeping it aside, Krishna is indicating to us that a unknown behavior in our own habit, not realizing what we are falling prey for. We know the sense objects are outside us. But why should Krishna say that Bahikritva, keeping them externally? He is indicating to us that the sense objects which are outside, let it remain there outside. Do not get attached to that, or don't have any notion in the mind that I want it or I am hating it. That is the reason why we are getting kama krodha, ichha. He is coming to that later. The desire to include it into my being of the external objects is a habit we have developed because we started thinking about aham and idam. I am and the world outside is idam. Therefore, I am incomplete unless I have the world outside also included in me. Therefore, we start aggrandizing things, accumulating things. To avoid that is what is the first instruction. Let things which are outside leave them outside. If you remember, Paranchikani Vedrunat Swayambhu Tasmat Paran Pashyati Nandaratma. We have still not developed the capability to see Atman in everything. Therefore, we need to keep the things outside. Otherwise, we will have this separation of myself and the world of objects as duality. This duality is what Krishna is telling. By practice, let them remain as objects outside. Chakshucha andare bruvo kritva. Chakshucha. Fixing the gaze between the eyebrows. Now, he is taking only the chakshu as an example of the five sense organs. What does he say? Chakshucha andare bruvo kritva. Bruvo ande. Fixing the gaze between the eyebrows. Bruvo madhye or bruvo andare. When we close our eyes, we still can imagine objects of the sense organs as desirable objects for us. And the mind wanders from object to object. When Krishna says to keep the gaze focused in the center of the eyebrow, he is not talking about the physical eye and the physical eyebrow. He is talking about a practice of fixing the respective sense objects, not as a attention on them. When I focus my eye in the in the center of my eyebrow, either with eyes open or eyes closed. In either case, the eyes starts developing a strain. It is not able to focus on the visual objects which otherwise it can see when the eyes are in the normal gaze. So when we close the eyes and start concentrating on the center of the brow or the both of the eyebrows, the tendency for the eye to visually imagine the objects of interest reduces, and it becomes nil by practice. So it is not only that the eyes imagining things will stop, there will be a sort of sensation between the eyebrows which will take the attention of the mind also toward that spot where there is a sensation which is happening. By doing this, not only are we focusing our visual imagination or visual seeing to limitation, because of the concentration of the eyes to that spot in the center of the eyebrow, the mind also gets attentive about the pain or on the concentration which is happening at the spot where the eye is now getting focused. Not only that, we become oblivion about our other sense organs and their activities. When concentration is fixed on the center of the eyebrow, the sound by the ears, the taste and the smell, we are becoming oblivion to that, including to the level up to our sense of feeling on the body will also get reduced when this focus is happening. But when this is doing, the tendency for us to stop breathing will happen if we are not practicing it perfectly. For that purpose, he says that prana apanau samau kritva nabhyandara charinau. Nabhyandara charinau means, nasabhyandara charinau means what is moving between the nostrils, which means the air which is going inward and outward. Nasa abhyantara charinau means through the nostrils what is moving up and down. That is what is called the prana and apana. Equalizing prana and apana movement within the nostrils means we are developing a skill of non-agitation or non-involvement by our mind, because the mind and the breathing are connected. When we are agitated, we breathe very, sharply and frequently. That, sometimes, the nostrils expand and we start. So there is a relation with our mind expression and the breathing which we do. When we are doing the equalizing of prana and apana through the nostril, what actually is happening is that a sort of tranquility or serenity is brought upon the mental agitation also. The vritti of the mind becomes equal towards the attention which it is now focusing on to the center of the eyebrow. So the mind doesn't become agitated in the process. In the next verse, he says that Yada indriya mano buddhi muni moksha parayana vigada ichha bhaya krodha yaha sada mukta eva saha. The Muni, Yata Indriya Mano Buddhi, restrained senses, mind and intellect. Indriya means senses, Manaha means mind, Buddhi means intellect. Yataha means restraint. The Muni restrains the senses, mind and intellect by the previous process, which has been explained in the 27th verse. Bahyan sparshan bahi kritva chakshuscha andare bhuvom kritva pranapano samo kritva nasabhyantara charino. That is the way in which the yatanam or the restrainment of the senses, mind and intellect takes place. So the connection between the previous verse and this verse is brought by Yatendriya Mano Buddhi. Who is doing that? Muni. And what is the Muni? Moksha Parayana. He is desirous of moksha. He is desirous of freedom of the onslaught of the mind, intellect and the sense organs, which have been the reason why the feeling that I am a limited individual human being is happening. I need to free myself up. I need to release myself from the limitations of the sense organs, mind and intellect. That is possible only when the mind, intellect and the sense organs are restrained with the what? Vida Ichha Bhaya Krodha. When I am doing the restrainment of the sense, mind and intellect, it is the external what I am controlling. But I need to control from within also the desire, fear and anger, etc. of the mind. So, Vigata Ichha Bhaya Krodha means, Vigata means departed or, released. What? Ichha Bhaya Krodha. By doing the Bahyan Sparshan Bahi Kritva Chakshub Chandare Bhruva Mritva Pranapano Samau Kritva Yada Indriya Mano Buddhihi, I am doing that is, I am getting myself freed from the Bhaya Krodha Ichha. When I am freed from this of Ichha Bhaya Krodha, I become Mukta. I am now liberated. When I don't have the desire, the anger and the desire for Bhaya, Krodha, anger, etc., free all my mental emotions, all my activities of the mind, for the sense objects, for living, for fear, for want of things, all the activities of mano, buddhi and senses. When that is totally restrained or departed from my attention, departed means it is not that they are going to go away from the mind or intellect. My attention is not there on them. The mind is no more in the desire. The mind is no more in fear. The mind is no more in anger. All this is possible only when I am restraining my interaction with the world outside through the sense organs. Yaha sada mukta eva saha. That is the time the mukti, the liberation or the freedom of permanent nature. Sada eva chaha. I realize that. The more the Muni realizes that, I was all the time free only. It is not that I attained freedom or attained the moksha. The moksha is not a agata, is not a thing which is being created by meditation. What does meditation do? Meditation realizes or makes us realize that even meditation was from the point of view that I was not a free person. The moment I am realized that sada mukta eva saha, I was always free. Krishna says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim richati. Mam, jnatva, having known me means not Krishna. Having known who I am. Yajna tapasam bhoktaram. Who was doing the yajna and the tapas earlier? Who was being seen as a beneficiary of yajna and tapas? That mam, who is nothing but Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the Lord, the great Lord of all world. Because the all world is now seen as in me. So I become the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. And not only that, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, that Sarvaloka Maheshwaram is a Suhrit, means a friend of Sarvabhutana, because he is seeing all the creation as himself. This is the Brahma Nirvana which was mentioned as the result of Jnana. Here Krishna is giving a methodology. To attain the same Brahma Nirvana through Jnana, because he is here mentioning Jnatva Mam, having understood who I am or what is my reality. Shantim Richati. This word Richati is a very special verb. Apnoti, Gachati, all have the same meaning. Apnoti means pervades, reaches or attains. Gachati means goes or attains again. This word Richati also has the same meaning. But the Richati word in Sanskrit is used very sporadically or very rarely. In the Gita itself it is very rare. But it is to indicate that attainment of the result of a knowledge. That is why jnatvam richati. It is the conditional verb following the knowledge. Jnatva, after having understood. Richati, attains. Now connection between jnatva and richati is important. It is not that you are reaching when you know. You are not going spatially, space-wise, somewhere else. Nor can you travel time-wise something which was not present. As time-space dissolves in the knowledge where I become the knowledge. And with the adjective which is used is Sarva Bhutanam Suhrit. Is the same thing which Krishna mentioned Brahma Nirvanam when he said that Sarva Bhuta Hitairata. Is the same meaning Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. They are not two separate. They are one and the same. And he is saying Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. Now the word Loka means experiences or the worlds of experiences or the realm of experiences. Sarva Loka means all sorts of experiences. There is no Loka means world separate. The world is a field of experience. What we called as waking is a waking world. The waking world of experiences is the Jagrat. The world of dream is what is called the Swapna Loka. Jagrat Loka, Swapna Loka, Sushupti Loka, where that is the Sushupti. Loka means experience. So when I say that Sarva Loka means Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Each one is a Loka by itself. Other than Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, there is no Loka for us. All Lokas, including the Lokas which are mentioned in the Jagrat, becomes part of Jagrat. And the Sarva Loka Maheshwaram means he becomes the Lord who is now the controller of waking, dream and deep sleep. The freedom today which we do not have is because we are thinking we are victims of waking, victims of dream, victims of deep sleep. Or we are subservient or under the control of waking, dream and deep sleep. The yajna and tapas which we did in the waking is nothing but the effort which we put to identify the world of object Bahya Sparshan and the mind and the intellect which is the recipients of the sense organs and sense outputs. So when we control the senses and the mind and the intellect, we are in a state where Vigata Ichha Bhaya Krodha. We have departed from the onslaught of desire, anger and fear, etc. Means the entire mental activity, intellectual activity, sensual activity. All this we have survived or surpassed. We have now reached a state where we become the Bhoktar, the enjoyer. The enjoyer who knows the yajna tapas which were done by the waker. We do not become the waker, but we become the enjoyer of the yajna and tapas of the waking. Not as the fruits of the yajna and tapas, but as a controller, Sarvaloka Maheshwara. We are the recipient where the yajna and tapas we were submitting towards as a karma yogi. Or even when we were doing the Brahma Karma Samadhi, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmana Udam Brahmaiva Tena Gandavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. That Brahma Karma Samadhi, when we were doing everything as Brahma, seeing everything as Brahma, is a yajna tapas which we were doing. But who was the Bhoktaram? Who was the enjoyer of that yajna and tapas when we were surrendering them to a Ishvara? Mam Jnatva. Now I know I am the Bhoktaram. I was the enjoyer all the time. Apart from me, there is nothing else. The Ishvara, which we think is external to us, is the Bhoktaram within us. Because when Krishna says, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, we cannot exclude us and say Sarva Bhuta means every creation other than me. No, he didn't say Sarva Bhuta will not include you or include me. It is a totality what he is talking about. So Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Sarva Bhutanam Suhritam can be one and the only one when we realize Mam Jnatva. That Mam, in the pedagogical way, Krishna is talking to Arjuna saying as me. But when the listener understands that it is Sarva Bhuta Maheshwaram and Sarvaloka Maheshwaram and Sarva Bhutanam Suhritam, or Sarva Bhuta Hitairata, the Brahma Nirvanam Richati. When he says that, there cannot be Arjuna separate, Krishna separate, if he has understood it properly. The same thing should happen to us also when we are listening to the Bhagavad Gita. That the Krishna is not a Krishna outside us. It is the Sakshi or the witness or the Atma or the Brahman in us, or we as Brahman or Atman. So all these prakriya which has been mentioned about keeping the sense object outside, controlling the mind, controlling the eyes, and releasing ourselves from the one who is doing the yajna tapas, not kartaram. Krishna didn't use the word kartaram, the doer of yajna tapas. He said bhoktaram yajna tapasam. The recipient or the enjoyer of all the activities of yajna tapas. The yajna tapas what he includes is right from the beginning where he said bahyan sparshan bahikritva. From that to sada mukta evasa, when we know that we are always free, we were never at the controller of anything else. We become the Sarvaloka Maheshwara. These three verses, as per Shankaracharya, is the sutra or the aphorism on which the entire 6th chapter is being explained by Krishna. because it is very difficult to understand the meaning of these three verses independently. To understand that, we need to study the entire sixth chapter. Therefore, Krishna is indicating towards the sixth chapter, where he starts the first verse with a verse, Anashrita karma phalam, karyam karma karoti yaha, sa sannyasi cha yogi cha, na niragnir chakriya. He, without taking resort in the fruit of action, Anashrita, karyam karma karoti yaha, performs the duty and enjoyed act. He is both the renunciation, sannyasi cha yogi. He is a renunciant and a yogi. He is not the one who has merely abandoned the fire. Means the Panchagni or the Agnihotra, etc. Not only that, nor the one who has simply given up the action. Nor a sannyasi, he is just, about doing the action and without doing an action, which we saw. Na karmanam, no, anarambat, neshkarmyam purushosnute, na sacha sanyasanadeva, siddhim samadhi gacchati. We studied that verses. Or na neshkarmyam purushosnute, nishkarmata bhava. So when Krishna is talking about this, he is now introducing us to a totally a dhyana yoga, or atma samyama yoga. Atma samyama, restraining oneself with the knowledge of what is karma. We have now to start with, the sthita pratnyasya ka bhasha, what is the karma, what is karma yoga, what is karma sannyasa. All these things need to be combined together to achieve Atma Samyama Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, which will take us to the state of Vida Ichha Bhaya Krodha, the state where we do not have desires, we do not have fear, we are not having anger or hatred, we are yogi, sannyasi, or we sada mukta, always liberated. We have been always free from all these onslaughts of it. This andaranga sadhana, or the inner poise which we are going to study in the sixth chapter, is being introduced by Krishna in these three verses as an aphorism or a sutra. Next week, we will enter the sixth chapter. The beginning of the sixth chapter is a long dialogue between Shankaracharya and Purvapakshi, who is arguing the requirement of karma and before the Dhyana Yoga. So the dialogue between Shankaracharya and the Purvapakshi is a long one, which we will go through it because we need to understand why actions are not necessary for jnana. Jnana karma samuchaya is being negated. He includes the Purvapakshi includes even dhyana as part of karma, whereas Shankaracharya is saying that dhyana, even though it is part of karma yoga, but it is required as a preparatory thing before the jnana to answer. So the requirement of the karma yoga in its proper fashion can be successful only when the karma yoga is becoming a dhyana yoga. Samarpanam, arpanam kritva. That what one we should learn how our actions can become meditation is what is explained in the 6th chapter. I will stop here now, and next week we will start the 6th chapter. And if anything, any question is there regarding these 3 verses or anything in the 5th chapter, you can ask me now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Prakash, are you there? So anyone has a question, please come up. Namaste Venkat.
This is a good beginning for us for the next chapter. The fundamental shift I am now saying is yoga with gnana or karma with gnana is now opened up here. Unlike, do it like a simple instruction. So this primary dimension takes away anything that is, there is no karma in first place by giving why you are doing it. So this shift is, why it will, there is no gnana karma samuchaya in that case because gnana is primary, hence further now restrain the, wandering mind by bringing it to the,
Right.
because in our yoga instructions, we were given, that Shambhavi Mudra is what third eye position between the eyebrows.
Right.
Focus on it, and we balance the breath with pranayama, and then get into dhyana by focusing on that position.
Yeah, but there the mind senses, the senses, mind and intellect control to achieve the Vida Ichha Bhaya Krodha, or to totally eradicate the desire, fear, etc. is the important aspect of it, not the actions of Sambhavi Mudra and, pranayama alone. You have to graduate beyond that.
Yes, Pinduji. The nature of senses is never known. Now, this chapter really covers, the prayer chapter and this chapter covers that the primary, configuration of Indriya and Kama, that whole inherent nature of them to pull you away is very well told. Now it is getting into this dimension. That means there is no separate yoga per se.
Absolutely. That is exactly what it is. Dividing these things into different category is due to the limitation of our understanding.
Got it, Vinodji.
Where can there be divisions? Each one is integrated into everything. The whole life itself is a yajna. That is why Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi was taught to us. And then, if we know that as Brahma Karma Samadhi, all actions like whether we are eating, living, seeing, all those things, that is why that 10 items were listed by Krishna, Krundan, Pashyan, Shruvan, Shaban, Srishwan, all those things, 10 list actions which we said that Krishna said, all of them say that they are all Karma Samadhi, Brahma Karma Samadhi only.
Binduji, when did this divergence happen? Because if yoga is so integrated by Krishna, then itself,
Yes.
when did the divergence happen then? There's a word
Divergent. Yeah. See, divergent, what you are talking about is exactly the same thing. Being Brahma or Atma, why are we feeling we are human beings? The same thing, mistake, is the reason why the divergence also has taken place.
It is a human mind that sort of, somebody took it away over the time.
Right.
And created a separate yoga path.
Yes.
It's just a good takeaway, Binduji, today. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Venkat. Namaste, Revati.
Pranam, Binduji.
Pranam.
I didn't understand the Bhoktara, Binduji. Why after the Brahma Nirvana, who is the Bhoktara? Because the Bhoga Bhoktara, there should be.
See, Krishna has said Akarta Abhokta. He has denied that Atman is Akarta Abhokta. But at the same time, he has told us to do the karma yoga, karma sannyasa, karma, the arpanam for the purpose that I am neither the doer nor the enjoyer. That activity of the individual is a yajna which has been mentioned earlier. Now, at that time, we are submitting or surrendering all our actions and the fruits of action to a Ishvara. Now, when this knowledge, Jnatva Mam, when that happens, the Ishvara is Ananya, is not separate from me. So, the Yajna Bhoktara is who? Who is the Yajna Bhoktara?
Yes. Me. That both are
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Karta and the Bhokta becomes one and the same.
Yes.
And that is not different from the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram who is in it. But if you do not bring in that Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Srutam, Sarvabhuvadanam, or Sarvabhuta Hitairata, all those aspects as Brahma Nirvana, the chances what Venkat was asking will be there to keep a Vishnu or a Shiva or a Ishtadevada separate from us as a Ishvara, and we becomes the doer. We do not become the Bhoktara.
Yes. Yes.
That is why, to avoid that only, this Krishna is saying this.
Yes, Sarva Bhutatma, Sarvatma.
Yes.
Yes, Binduji. Thank you, Binduji.
Thank you, Revati. I think Prakash, you had a glitch, I think, in the mobile.
Yes, I was frozen, Binduji.
Yeah.
I had to quit and come back.
Right, I saw that. If nobody else is coming, we can close the room. We'll continue next week, 6th chapter onward. Next chapter will be 0601, room number.
0601. Okay, thank you very much, Binduji. Thanks everyone for coming and attending the session. So we'll continue again on Tuesday, 6:30 a.m. IST. You can access the replays if you are going to catch up and do the manana on the previous 3 rooms which Binduji has recommended. Over to you, Binduji, to close the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakash, Venkat, and Revati for your participation. And for all of you who have been listening, we'll continue into the 6th chapter from next week onwards. Hari Om. Have a good day.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.